Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome into another VR accessibility overview. And this one is for The Last Worker, which is available on Steam for PC VR, PS5 for the PSVR 2, which is what I am playing on, and the MetaQuest headset for MetaQuest 2, 3, 3S, and Pro. Alright, one thing I do want to mention out of the gate, just before I get into all the notes and that kind of stuff, for both Steam as well as the PS5 versions of this game, VR is a kind of a secondary option. So not everything in the game is fully interactable as though it kind of should be. Now, it could be completely interactable, all over, full of VR goodness on the MetaQuest headsets for that version of the game, but there are definitely going to be some differences between that and the other two versions. Alright, so with that out of the way, we'll start as we always do with Steam VR support. Is it supported? Honestly, no idea. The Steam VR store, or the Steam store page for The Last Worker, just says that it supports the use of the Valve Index and the MetaQuest headsets, and that's really it. It does not say whether it supports Steam VR, like the full use of it, or if you can just open the game within Steam VR, but then it's going to kick you to Meta VR, and if it does, then usually things like OVR advanced settings and walk-in VR, which are also helpful for accessibility things, especially walk-in VR, will probably not be usable to you. And it would be nice if the Steam store page actually said anything, but it doesn't. Again, though, with this being just an option and the game technically being made for non-VR, I don't really know what to expect. Now, seated mode. Yes, this game has only two ways that it can be played. You can play it standing. Honestly, I would think that would kind of make you sick. Maybe. Or this kind of woozy at points. Because you are technically seated for this entire game. You are sitting in this cart thing. That's mainly it. You're just sitting. So if you have to play seated, you want to play seated, or you just got to take breaks every now and again, but you want to keep playing, so you sit in a chair. You can still play it just fine. No problems there. Changeable controls. No. just no. You'll have to go through the Steam VR Rebind if it is available. Again, if it kicks you out to Meta VR after the game is launched in VR, I don't know what to tell you. But if you're on the PS5, you'll have to go into the accessibility settings while in the PSVR 2 to get the controllers to show up. Or if you're on a Meta headset, go into the accessibility settings, and in there you can remap all the buttons and the triggers and the sticks and all that stuff. Do keep in mind that at least with the PS5 accessibility settings and the MetaQuest accessibility settings, no idea about the PC. If you change any of them, the in-game prompts will still show what they were by default before you change them. So do keep in mind what you have switched with what.
There it is.
Just so you're not
Their
sitting there
first
forever
product.
being like, why isn't
No
this
one
working?
forgets their first product.
Alright,
It was
movement
like
types.
See? Up here.
Smooth.
Now, this is where it gets
Smooth
fun.
movement.
To pick up your
That's all you
dollar,
got.
point, and
That's
squeeze
all you
the
got
trigger.
with this one. Turning types. Pretty much the same.
Now,
You have
gently
smooth
place it
and
on your
physical.
pod. Easy
Again,
does
I
it,
think
and
maybe they could
release.
have put some
What a
snap
happy
turning.
ending.
Maybe.
Great job.
But
Let's take
I'm
it
really
to the
not
distance.
too sure. That probably feel kind of weird being in a vehicle. But so smooth and physical. That's all you got for turning.
Look at all that dust.
Colorblind
Sure we're
modes.
supposed to be here, Skew.
I bet you know the answer to this one if you've seen any of my other overviews.
What I meant is
No.
this area should be off limits.
Sadly, the answer is no on that one. However, if you are on a MetaQuest headset, you can go into the accessibility settings, then go under visual, and then go under color correction,
But it is me.
and you will see the typical 3 colorblind options that you see in more non-VR games these days. I really wish they would start making their way into more VR games for the people that need them. That would be good. I would like to be able to say yes once in a while to this question. Closed captions, subtitles, all that good stuff. Yes, as you can see on the screen,
Swiss.
subtitles, I believe they're on by default, but if not, you'll just check the settings before officially starting the story
I think it's lovely.
and all that. They pop up. They're easy to see, like they're within, I would say, a good spot in the vision of the headset.
Makes you feel all.
However,
No,
you
I'd like
cannot
to.
change
I'd
the
like to turn
size
them off.
or the color
Our
or
next
give it a
product.
background or
Race
any
it
of that
up.
stuff. So do keep that in mind. I wish that that stuff would get added as well. Much like the color, the colorblind stuff. I really wish these things would get added
Too
more.
good.
But sadly, that is not the case.
Don't worry.
Alright, difficulty levels.
Ooh, it's
No.
vibrating and displaying
No
market
difficulty
different
levels
signs.
here.
Is that right?
And at least from the amount that I've played, there's not really any combat.
And I gotta make sure
You're-
it
you're a
matches the
delivery
info
guy.
on our dashboard.
You deliver stuff. You take it either to get shipped or you take it to recycling.
Sure enough.
And
it does.
at least at the
So, we're
end
good, right?
of
We're not.
the first, and try not to get fired.
The product's damaged. Just like you.
But at the end of chapter
You want me to
1,
tag it.
there's a
Gotcha.
race. So maybe occasionally I have to race people, but yeah, that's it. So what you get is what you get. The game's not really demanding. You just got to try not to get F and get fired at the end of a shift. And for probably one of the most important parts, upper body and arm movement levels. Now, from you're seeing the gameplay as well, but I would say for this, especially because not everything is interactable in VR. Because again, wasn't a full VR game. This could differ on the Quest. Obviously, that is only VR, so everything could be the way that it needs to be. So
Nope.
just keep that in mind. I'm going off of where it's just a secondary option.
Recycling. Red dot on the map.
But I would still say
you went the wrong way.
minimal to full,
Hey,
because
Skew, here.
at least when it is only the option, you use the one of the triggers. I think by default is the left trigger, the one for your index finger, not the grips, to accelerate,
Off to recycling
and
we
you
go.
use
That's
what
the
would
best
be
shot.
You just did
the
that bit, Skew.
on PlayStation, it would be the X and circle buttons, or the A and B buttons to raise yourself up or lower yourself down to be able to get to the right height to be able to pick up the package.
Yeah, that's me.
So you don't even have to move your arms for any of that. And the furthest you really have to reach is to be able to grab the gun, to grab the package off of the shelves, and then you press back on the analog stick to pull it to you, and then taking the package
I'm
gun
not supposed to be here.
to the side and getting the other attachment to put a sticker on the package to say if it's damaged, incorrect, or any of that kind of stuff. So I do want to say minimal to full. It may be full if you are moderate to full, if you are on Quest, because more things might be interactable than what they are for PC and PS5. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. So minimal to full for this game. It's been a very long time since I've been able to say minimal for something. Feels like they're always at full, but it being VR, I guess that's understandable. And that is gonna do it for this VR accessibility overview of The Last Worker. I will just say The Last Worker VR or The Last Worker VR mode, depending on what you're playing on. Hopefully this video has helped you decide on whether this game whether you can play it or not. Or maybe you know somebody who was thinking about this game, didn't really know. Show this to them, maybe you can help them. Or the best thing that you can do, instead of just sharing this video, down in the description at the top, as always, you will find a link to a Google spreadsheet. There you will find notes for every game I have covered over the last like 5 years, and next to any of them that have had an overview video made, the link to that will be right next to the notes. Everything is separated by tabs and in alphabetical order, so you should have no problem finding what you need. And hopefully I've covered more of the games that you're interested in.
So
But yeah.
unnecessary.
Hope you're having a lovely day or night whenever you happen to be watching this, and I will see you later. Alright, bye!